Hello everybody and welcome to another video of the Time-Lapse Traveler. So today I'm making a kind of a tech review. Haven't done one of those for a while. Zhiyun Smooth X handheld stabilizer, pictured here. I don't really practice making videos with my cell phone very often. As I'm sure you guys know, I'm generally making videos with my Insta360 1R camera. One of the reasons why I like that camera more than anything else out there is because of the smooth stabilization that those videos give. Besides, you know, all the awesome, really unique perspectives that you can get only from a 360 camera. But then I was browsing around the internet and then all of a sudden I just bumped into this, like $40, 2,000 pesos for a stabilizer like this. So yeah, the Zhiyun is a very respectable brand when it comes to stabilizers, especially for smartphones and other devices as well.
This stabilizer is certainly very convenient to use due to how compact and well built it is, but I can't say that it performs particularly well, so this review is going to be very mixed.
What's going on? They said they brought me in for some youth, an injection of youth.
Yeah, and you know what? I could see why, because you definitely brought it.
Yeah, I've always wanted a drone. I don't know how to fly one.
I recently used it during an interview with a popular radio personality, JC Tevez, who I met on a set where he was a co-host of an episode of I filmed an upcoming episode about this event in part by using this gimbal, and that's something that you'll be able to see on my channel in a not too distant future.
Ah, it's getting sunny out here. They're basically the main competitor to DJI with their Osmo Mobile handheld stabilizer. Those stabilizers are really quite expensive, also a bit on the bulky side. So when I saw this, I thought, wow, this is cool.
Schwacked.
What makes this stabilizer unique compared to many others out there is that it's a 2-axis stabilizer. So it doesn't have the tilt. If you're bobbing up and down while walking, then that will definitely come out in the footage. Hopefully I'm not doing too much of that. However, most smartphones today have their own stabilization built in, and then when you couple it with the stabilization that this gimbal provides, you get a pretty decent result. In addition to that, for anybody who actually likes to make their videos look good in their presentations, they would use some kind of editing software. And a lot of software nowadays, they have their own stabilizing features. The footage that you're watching right now has just been recorded with the stabilizer, but no other stabilization techniques. So this is pretty much exactly what my Samsung Galaxy S21 captured with the front-facing selfie camera. Another reason why I never really considered using my cell phone to make videos is because if you're holding it out in your hand, your hand is generally going to be getting in the shot, which is not very cool. But because there's a selfie stick option that you get in this gimbal, that is a really, really worthwhile feature. Now I can have my phone kind of extended outward a little bit, and then you can have like a really decent perspective of just what I'm trying to show. So now that I'm on High Street, I need to put a face shield on. Sometimes I require it, sometimes not, but it's always good to have it handy. I really need to get a new one because this face shield has been in my backpack bouncing around, and it has seen better days. All right, here we are, face shield on. Now we're good to go. So today I'm just making a stroll down High Street. Need to do some shopping. Normally I'd be riding my scooter over there, but today I wanted to take a walk because I really need to exercise. I don't really get to do nearly enough walking. I just basically stayed home to take care of my wife Chris. 3 times a week we go walking to St. Luke's Hospital for therapy, and then once in a while I go out shopping, but I usually take my scooter. So I actually wanted to do some of my own walking for a change. Chris is at home busy with work. She should be all right for a while. I just wanted to squeeze in a little comparison here. Right now I'm shooting the video also with the front-facing camera at 1080p Full HD. So there's no real stabilization options here on my phone, the Galaxy S21. But now when we switch to the rear camera and continue shooting in 1080p, then there's a really good stabilization. Now I am using the stabilizer, so the smoothness of the video should be particularly buttery. And I'm walking at a pretty good pace. Of course, the smoother your walk, the better your ninja walk that is, the smoother your video is going to be, no matter what. And here it is, holding it in my hand with the super steady on. So before that was with the super steady feature. Now the super steady is off and I have just the basic stabilization. You can see that starting to run into some problems over here. But in contrast, this is what it looks like if I'm just holding the camera in my hand. The shaking is so much worse. Now, because I like to future-proof my videos, my preference is always to be shooting at 4K 60. That's why cell phone is not really my go-to choice for a camera. For a quick B-roll shot, especially if I'm not planning to walk around much, this is gonna be a great choice for me though. When it comes to smooth panning shots, I really like what the stabilizer can do. Well, here I am now at Market. Busy as ever over here. Well, the busiest that you'll have it during the pandemic and the quarantine.
Hello!
Lockdown is still in effect, but businesses here are open at least, so that's definitely a good thing. Market is probably the most popular mall here in BGC. You can get a lot of nice deals for clothes, for food, but many of these stalls are still closed though, although a lot of them are already open. There's an Adidas store. Hey man, what's up? Hey. Hi, future me here. Just had to cut in. So I've been using this thing for several months already. Honestly, not really all that much because as you could have seen before from some of the previous shots, it's not really all that good when walking with it. When you're just simply panning from side to side, then it's pretty good. But once you actually start to walk, it kind of loses its purpose. Now what I'm actually doing over here in Burgess Circle, really nice place by the way. This is the time when low light stabilization isn't very good. So the camera can stabilize by itself, shooting in low light to show how, without using the phone's own stabilization, I can make fairly stable videos if certain parameters are met. Walking with it or running with it, God forbid, that's a no-go. Having a 2-axis gimbal stabilization is not like having a 3-axis gimbal. That's why most of the gimbals out there, they are 3-axis, and that's a pretty good reason why. So this is the front-facing camera right now, and that one doesn't have smooth stabilization at all. And I switched to the rear camera. Smooth stabilization has been manually disabled, and I'm just simply filming without it and using the Zhiyun stabilizer. When moving the camera to the side like this, it is pretty good. Walking is a whole other matter though. If I use the smooth stabilization on my phone and just simply have it in my hand, then the result is really not that bad. But you know what? Let's give this thing the benefit of the doubt and see how it compares at night. Because like I said, camera's software stabilization cannot work as well when there is not much light. But it'll be interesting to test it out. So let's just go into Forbes Town. The nightlife, of course, here is amazing. I'm just going to walk nice and smooth, but quick at the same time. I'm known for doing speed walking. Yeah, this forward bounce is not doing anybody any favors, I know that. Now let's see what happens if I enable the smooth stabilization. First of all, the image crops in a little bit, and there's a weird meandering flow to the movement now because of the way that the camera stabilizes the shot. But it should be smoother. Now when I'm panning side to side, check out this nice shot right here. Alright, now the same thing again, just without the smooth stabilization. Yeah, if you don't have this kind of feature, then of course this gimbal will do a good job at making things a lot better. At least as far as these dramatic side-to-side shots go. But that's not very realistic because in most cases you would definitely need to be walking with it at some point, and that's when things fall apart. Walking with it, no gimbal, smooth stabilization on. When you're not using a stabilizer, kind of makes you wonder what the stabilizer gimbal is for at all, because this is pretty good. It's back inside the stabilizer gimbal and we're going for a walk again. The rear camera is doing a really good job with the stabilizer. With the front camera, there's quite a bit of a bounce that happens. But you know what? It's actually not that bad. It's just a little bit annoying. And for you vloggers out there, of course, you're going to be using the front-facing camera quite a bit while walking and talking with it like I am right now. So essentially, this is what result is like. Panning movements are actually pretty good, but when you're walking with it, having a lack of that third axis on the gimbal, you really start to miss it. Now, for comparison's sake, let me show you what the front-facing camera looks like as I'm walking in low light condition. Now, if I'm simply walking with it in my hand, the way that I am right now, this is the result. See, there's a lot more wobble without the stabilizing gimbal. So yeah, it does definitely make sense to use it. We're going to need to do some more comparison tests during the day. And for that, I'll see you later. Hello, so it's future me again. This time I'm doing some daytime walking around. So this is the front-facing camera with the stabilization gimbal. You know, it doesn't really seem like it's really any better for the bobbing situation, in fact, because you could see everything so clearly that the bobbing and the weaving, well, mostly the bobbing up and down, actually seems to be more pronounced. I'm really not digging this. And I switched to the rear camera, and walking with it definitely leaves something to be desired when you can see everything so nice and sharp, and while walking without having the third axis stabilization, that's problematic. One of my favorite places to eat, by the way, Mediterranean medley. Great salads in there. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that this gimbal also has some manual controls on it. Besides tilting left and right, it also has buttons to take a picture just from the stick itself, and also you could zoom in and out. The thing is, in order to make that work, you actually need to have the dedicated app on your phone. That's the good thing. The bad thing about it is that some of the advanced features of your phone, like having multiple lens options, being able to have 60 frames per second recording, which is what I like, as most of you would know. None of these things are available, so I don't feel like it's really worth it for me to go that route very much. I'm just using the stabilizer gimbal just for stabilizing. I'm not using any of the other features that it has. But I don't feel like I'm missing out much, because if I want to stop or start recording, you know, I'll just tap on the screen. Yeah, it's a little less convenient, but it's really not a big deal. All in all, I would say that if you're getting one of those 5,000 peso or $100 gimbals that has a 3-axis stabilization, if that's a little bit out of your budget, then this is definitely a worthwhile investment. Also, if you don't like to have something big and bulky and dangling with the extra arm that the third axis gives you, then this is also kind of a benefit in using this gimbal instead. It's a lot more compact. This one you can actually fit into your pocket fairly easily. The build quality of this gimbal is also really good. I have to say that it feels very similar to the DJI Osmo Pocket 2 that I used to have before, but I felt like I didn't get enough use out of it, so I just ended up selling it. I bought it initially when I had an older phone that didn't have its own built-in stabilization. If I were to use just this lens alone, I wouldn't really be using the gimbal. And especially when I throw the video into my video editor, then I can stabilize it further in there. The end result comes out to be pretty good, as I hope you've seen from some of my videos. When switching to a front-facing camera and I'm walking with it, then you see a lot more of the bounce. Let's see what happens when you compare it to holding the phone in my hand to holding it inside the gimbal. Now it's back inside the gimbal, and I'm walking with it with the front-facing camera. Just passing by the market mall, which is not open yet, but a lot of the food stalls are already open. Wow, I'm barely fitting underneath. I actually have to duck. Age-old problem for me here in the Philippines. It is pretty convenient having it inside the gimbal just for the sake of having a selfie. Yeah, the selfie stick arm definitely improves things for me. A lot more convenient and comfortable to hold the phone like this. I was sent on a mission to pick up some sisig, hooray! And looks like I'm too early. Look at that, they're just opening it up now. Love the food over here. Pretty good value too, generally speaking. Sisig is really one of my favorite Filipino dishes. I guess I'll just hang out here for a bit, wait for them to open up completely. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoyed this video review of the Zhiyun Smooth X stabilizer. If you did, please do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to enable the notifications by hitting the bell icon. Always do take care of yourselves and each other, and of course, keep looking out for more videos coming at you from the Time-Lapse Traveler. Bye!